Yo, it's your girl Janine St. G. We are back with another Heart to Heart. Check me out being consistent. But yeah, so in today's Heart to Heart, I wanted to sort of touch on something that I guess you could say learned or like realized this week. Call it like an insight, because you already know we are on the journey to a life of maximum fulfillment. And specifically right now, the focus is on like that third aspect for me, which is financial abundance. Like I said, we'll talk about it more, but this video, like, I'm not even gonna hold you. I know Black people say that all the time, and then they talk for like 9 years, but I'm really not going to hold you because I'm hungry. So I just wanted to like start really getting into the insight aspect of just what we're sharing in this space, right? So let's get into it. Basically, last week I got sick. Last weekend I was actually sick. I had like a cold and some flu-like symptoms. It kind of came out of nowhere, not really, but like kind of. And one of my friends also, I think she injured herself, right? And the reason why it's relevant is because both of us have been talking about all the things that we really want to bring to fruition, right? Because she knew that I was coming out of my period of self-isolation and just like putting stuff out there again. And she wrote me like a long note, and she was talking about how sometimes like you're like super revved up to do what it is that you want to do or whatever, or like work on a project that you have or something, again, like something you want to bring to fruition. And what do you do in moments where you feel like you're being set back? So in her case, it was like getting injured, or in my case, the reason why she sent me that message was because she was thinking about me, and she was like, yeah, like, I know that you've been on a roll with YouTube and everything. Like, how are you dealing with now being sick and, whatever, like, how do we deal with setbacks, like on our journeys to creating or bringing to life what it is that we want to bring to life, right? And it was so funny because it made me realize like how much I've grown, but also how there's still like little tendencies and habits that we still try to work out. So meaning, one of the things I told her was like, well, one, I don't really see like getting sick, or I don't want to say injured because I really can't afford to be injured. Like, I need to move all the time. But like being sick, I don't really see it anymore as like a setback. Because what I'm realizing is how important rest is, right? And rest is something that we often neglect because we live in a capitalistic society, right? So basically you're always supposed to be producing. That's it, period. And so if you're in a period where you're not producing or you're resting, it's normal to feel like, oh my God, like I'm worthless. Like I'm not doing nothing. Oh my gosh, I'm falling behind, whatever. When in reality, like rest is part of the process because we're human beings. We're not machines, right? So it was just interesting because I was like, oh wow, I never even thought about it as a setback. I just thought like, well, you're gonna lay yourself in this bed and you're gonna stay right here until you feel better, right? And so that's what I did. Like I was sick last week. I took a full rest Saturday. I took a full rest Sunday. But then Monday I just felt, because I was already so excited to just be back in it and like doing the thing. So, and there's so, like when I tell you I have such a large backlog of content, like vlogs and things that need to be edited on top of content that I'm creating like now in real time that I'm also trying to put out. So organizing all of that, and like I had come up with this very specific schedule. Okay, this is gonna drop then I'm gonna be working on this, whatever. And all of that just came to a halt when I had to rest, which when I decided, okay, I'm gonna take 2 days to like fully rest and my body's gonna come back to normal, was fine. But it's funny because Monday came and I was like, okay, we're gonna get moving. And I do this thing a lot of times I get sick where I try to trick my body into thinking that like we're not sick anymore. So I like get fully dressed, beat the face and just go about my day like normal. And Monday was cool, even though I could kind of feel like inside I was like, you probably need another day. But I also was just like, no, like I don't want to keep getting behind, right? And so it's so funny how quickly how quickly things shift. It's like rest was okay for 2 days, but then one more day would have been too much, right? Like, it's like, no, I have to get back and be a machine again. So it was interesting because let's think about the rest of the week. So Tuesday was cool. Like, I'm still moving, we grooving. Tuesday, I think I filmed the first video of the self-isolation series that I've been talking about that was really supposed to drop today, but because it's not ready, which is the point of this story, which we'll get to, we're just talking about this process right now. But yeah, so Tuesday I filmed that. I was like, oh shoot, like I'm back, like I'm caught up now. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a few other things I used to do, but I'm pretty much caught up. There's another thing that I have been working on. It's a project, but I kind of put it after my YouTube stuff because it's not due until later, right? But I knew that this week I was like, okay, I have to get my hands into that project this week because like there's a deadline for it, right? So cool. Fast forward through the week, I get to Thursday and I'm like, wow, I feel really tired, like wiped out. And so I was like, okay, well, just rest. You know, your body's still like getting over the sickness, even though like physically I felt fine. Like, I was able to go to the gym again. Like, you know, I wasn't just randomly falling asleep because I was sick or whatever. I was fine, but I just felt like, yeah, my body still feels a little bit run down. Probably because I had just recovered and went right back into the gym, right? Which can sometimes like depress your immune system depending on how hard you're going. So cool. Then Friday came and I was like, okay, Friday, I'm gonna start putting my hands into this project that I know is coming up. And it just didn't happen. What's funny about Friday is that I actually woke up at 7 a.m. on Friday. I was telling my friend this story, so I was like, oh, let me tell you too. So I woke up on Friday at 7 a.m., which was the plan, right? Because remember Thursday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna rest. I'm gonna like, you know, be obedient and rest. So Friday came, I woke up at 7 a.m. I was like, bet, that's the time I wanted to wake up. And then I was like, well, let me close my eyes real quick, which is something that I do often because part of like getting into this life of maximum fulfillment and just doing things differently and going full in on content creation is like, I really want to be living the life of my dreams. Part of the life of my dreams does not include like rushing to wake up to go do work or, you know, whatever the case might be. It's like really easing into the morning, like connecting with self, connecting with God, and then getting into whatever else, right? So it's something that I do often. Most people will be like, oh, like, you know, a tip to wake up early is to not, you know, close your eyes again or not to, you know, roll over under the covers. I'm not really about that school of thought because for me, I can really close my eyes. Like, it's almost like a moment to just meditate real quick and just gather myself and then get up and go. That's normally what happens for me. Listen, I closed my eyes and the next time I opened my eyes, it was 10 a.m. and I was like, how? Like, how did this happen? Like, I'm not that type of person. That does not happen to me. I'm not the person that like hits snooze and then doesn't wake up or whatever. So now I'm in this place of freaking out. But remember, I've already gotten to the point where I've grown enough to understand that rest is part of the process, right? But I'm freaking out because I woke up at 10 instead of being up at 7, which is the time that I wanted to be up so I can get everything done that I want to get done, right? Because I wanted to work on that project, mainly because I figured if I can get the project out the way on Friday, then I can really like catch up a little bit more with like content and YouTube stuff and even get ahead, right? Because my goal is to make sure that I'm showing up all the time. So cool. I'm freaking out and I'm just telling you about this day because it was so interesting, like when you really take the time to tap in, how things will be shown to you and like you'll get reminders. But basically that day I was freaking out because I know, like I said, I like to ease into my day. And there's certain things that are kind of like non-negotiable unless it's like life or death or like I actually have to be somewhere for something. So I was like, okay, I could either rush and try to like get into this project and be frazzled, or I could like ease into the day like normal and do sort of like my rising routine, which really is just like spending time with God. So I did all of that and, but by now it's mad late because I also wasted time just being frazzled. So by now it's like super late into the afternoon. I'm like, yo, There's no way that I'm gonna be able to finish this project in the time that I have. And I still wanted to get to the gym, and I wanted to wake up early the next day. So I wanted to be in bed by a certain time because I'm still trying to recover from being sick. So anyway, the whole point is there was a time crunch, right? So I finished my time with God, and then I was like, okay, normally I would go on a walk and then get into work. And I was like, oh, should I skip the walk? And I was like, no, but I really want to honor myself, and I feel like being outside would be good for sickness. Cool. So I went outside on the walk, and it's funny because on the walk I was like, okay, well, I can start thinking about things for the project so when I get back I can. Long story short, I got outside, I was walking, and I just kept getting all these sort of, I guess you could say signs that today wasn't the day that I needed to be working on the project. Today was a day that I also needed to dedicate to rest, which should have been obvious because again, that never happens to me that I close my eyes and fall asleep. I close my eyes and I'll wake right back. Not even, because I don't fall asleep. I'll close my eyes and then I open them and get to the day. So that should have been my first clue and sign, and I should have accepted it, but whatever. What am I saying right now? Oh yeah. So basically, as I was on the walk, I just started seeing a lot of signs, a lot of synchronicities that were really just pointing to one, you don't need to be working on this project right now, and two, you're in a good spot. Because a lot of the angst, I think, was coming from the fact that I really wanted to be ahead. Because in reality, when I really slowed down and thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, you're caught up, technically speaking. So why are you making this such a thing? It also reminded me that for this project specifically, this project is not something that I'm meant to rush, right? Because I'm presenting it to someone, and it's not just some random thing that I'm doing. It's something that they're going to then critique and whatever the case might be, right? And so it makes sense to give it the time, the due diligence that it deserves, as opposed to trying to cram everything into one day just to get ahead on a schedule. And so yeah, it was two things that came up. It was one, again, hello, remember, rest first. That's the most important thing, because once you rest, you can do anything. But then two, it was also not rushing the process. You know what I mean? Because again, this project is important. Give it the time that it deserves, right? And I also even got an extension on it. So that's the thing. I had gotten an extension on it, but for whatever reason, this thing was operating in me feeling no, I still want to meet the original deadline, which is why are you doing that to yourself? Why add all that extra pressure? For what? It's literally not going to make a difference. And actually, if you take more time, it will be better. So as long as you're actually working on it and not procrastinating, which I have been. So yeah, just things to think about, times that we're putting pressure on ourselves that we really don't need to be. Times when we're fighting the rest that needs to happen in order for us to actually get to the place that we want to get to, or see or bring the thing to life that we're trying to bring to life. And then another thing was rushing the process, not just for that project, but for YouTube too. I think I'm so excited, and I see the end of it. In my mind, I literally right now, there are videos that aren't edited yet, but that are complete in my mind. And I'm already kind of living in that moment of it being complete and being out. And it's just chill and stay in the present and stay where you are, and trusting that there is a very specific timeline for your life. And of course, we can always adjust timelines, right? There's free will and everything. But especially when life is happening, whether it's that you're sick or whatever the case might be, understanding that is part of a larger phenomena that's happening, right? It's life, but it's also things are ordered in a very specific way for a very specific reason that usually is above us, above what we could ever fathom or understand. So yeah, hopefully that could bring you some comfort, because I know right now is the time everybody's throat is starting to feel a little bit because the weather's changing and whatever. So yeah, just things to keep in mind. Rest first, rest when necessary. Shoot, rest even if you feel especially when you feel kind of guilty, I really want to rest right now, but I feel like I should. rest. Honor that first thing, because that first thing is like, that's your, your first instinct, and there's probably a reason for it. So honor it. And you don't have to be in a rush, and there's no reason to put undue pressure on yourself. It's like, if anything, that is holding you back, that unnecessary pressure. Okay. As you know, I have my little thing because I said I wasn't gonna hold you. I'm just making sure that I set everything. Yeah. Oh shoot, I got through everything. Cool. I think the only thing that I wanted to ask you about was, so this is like a random aside. The video is pretty much done, but this is a random aside just because I like your input. Something that has been kind of tripping me up a little bit, like with planning out content and figuring out how I want to like share certain things with you, is time. Meaning like, a lot of documenting this process is really about telling you a story, right? And so obviously there's moments like this where we're right in the exact time that we're in, right? But then there's gonna be a lot of storytelling that's like from before, right? And will still be relevant, you know what I mean? But I guess I'm just wondering, because I have so much stuff from before, for you, do you think that it would matter whether we start at the beginning or if it's just kind of like all over the place? Meaning like, we could be in 2022, we could be in 2019, we could be like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I guess the answer to that is like, it depends on like the story that I'm telling, but I'm just wondering for you, like, do you want to start at the beginning of the story or does it not really matter to you as long as you're getting the story? Yeah, let me know in the comments. I think that's it. Also, how are you feeling? How's your health? Let me know, because literally after I like had that cold, all of a sudden I heard everybody had a cold. Like my mom has a cold now. I'm like, it's crazy out here. So stay healthy, drink your tea, ginger tea with lemon and honey. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna go eat now. I love you, bye.